We're here with Pete Dye, who will handle the redesign and reconstruction of Ackerman Hills Golf Course. Pete, thanks for taking time with us. And just first off, how'd you get involved here with Purdue Golf, and how'd that get going?
Well, years ago, Doc O'Neill, a friend of mine in Indianapolis, he brought me up here to show me they wanted to redo one green. And I told him how they can do one green. So on the way back, I got to thinking about Purdue and the whole operation up here. And then I finally got up here and I brought a whole plan up for the Morgan Burke to look at. And he finally said, well, you have to talk to the president. And I told him it was a $7 or $8 million project. And he just sat there and listened to me. He said, well, I said, it's a great idea, but we just don't have the money, so forth. And I finally said, well, you know, I'll do all the work, my work, for $1, and then I'll raise the $7 million for you. And he jumped out of his chair and shook my hand and said, you have a job. And on the way back, I drove back to Indianapolis. Thinking about it, I keep thinking, oh, geez, you ought to shut up. And I finally got home and I told my wife what I'd done. She said, well, get in that car and go back up there and tell him you lost your mind. And we used a lot of the students from the school, and they came in and they had different hours and different this, and we finally worked it out where somebody be working on number 5 green and he'd be there till 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, then maybe 3, another guy would come in and work till 8 or something like that. But we worked it all out and used a lot of the students, so we kept the cost down.
Talk about your vision for that course and then how different the renovation will be compared to the way it plays now.
It'll be entirely different, and you'll try to make it from the back tees to play. If they want to have a tournament, they can have it. But you're trying to make it from the white tees and the blue tees and wherever you have, the ladies' tees, that everybody can get around it. Mm-hmm. And we can do that. And they can bunker it so that the bunkers get it and get the guys from the back tees and so forth. So it'll work out. And it won't be as hard as this golf course, but it'll be playable. And another thing is, we've looked at all the trees and everything else and taken down everything that shades into the greens and so forth, because you can't grow grass in shade. And so when a tree dies or the ones we know would have to come out, and we can get shade on, get sunlight on all the greens and the tees. So it works out fine, and so people will want to jump from one to the other. And also, over on the west side, there was another 40 acres that we had, and I got that tied into the south course. So we can put 3 holes over there. So it opens up everything across the road where the parking comes. So now Purdue will be able to park on about 30 acres more. And they can do so without interrupting the golf course or anything. So it works out fine. We'll burn out the fairways and then overseed it and vent. And that way they'll get rid of all the poanyan and all that. So and then with what we're doing for the city, it'll make it walkable. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you, it'll really be walkable.
It'll maintain some of its current parkland characteristics.
Oh yeah.
There'll be 2 basically different courses.
Oh
here.
yeah, there'll be. See, the ground is different here than over there, and so forth. So it'll work out fine. But we can drain it and work it out. There's certain things you have to do, and then what we're doing for the city, they're paying for the. There's a big ravine that you have to walk way down 50 or 60 feet back up. Mm-hmm. You go across. Yep. And that just changes the whole world. and of course the kids could walk back to back tees and so forth. But for the John Q. public, it'll be playable golf course.
Well, Pete, we thank you for your time and your efforts on this renovation, and
All right.
look forward to seeing the project.
Well, it's going to be okay.